As described in the preceding section, we derive the class unordered ArrayList from the abstract class ArrayList class and implement the operations search, insert, and remove. Let's see figure 3-7. Figure 3-7 is the UML diagram of the class unordered array list and the instance, the inheritance hierarchy. Search. The search algorithm described next is called a sequential or linear search. Consider the list of 7 elements shown in figure 2-8. Suppose that you want to determine whether 27 is in the list. The sequential search works as follows. First, you compare 27 with the element at list at index 0. That is, compare 27 with 35. Because the element at list at 0 is not equal to 27, you then compare 27 with the element at list at index 1. That is 12. The second item in the list. Because the element at list at index 1 is not equal to 27, you compare 27 to the next element in the list. That is, compare 27 with the element at list at index 2. Because the element at list index 2 is equal to 27 and the search stops. This is a successful search. Let us now search for 10. As before, the search starts with the first element in the list, that is, at list at index 0. This time, the search item, which is 10, is compared with every item in the list. Eventually, no more data is left in the list to compare with the search item 10. This is an example of unsuccessful search. It now follows that as soon as you find an element in the list that is equal to the search item, you must stop the search and report success. In this case, you usually also tell the location in the list where the search item was found. Otherwise, after the search item is compared with every element in the list, you must stop the search and report failure. Suppose that the name of the array containing the list elements is list. The previous discussion translates into the following algorithm for the sequential search. Found is set to false. The following method performs a sequential search on a list. Now that you know how to implement the sequential search algorithm, we can give the definition of the methods insert and remove. Recall that the method insert inserts a new item at the end of the list if this item does not exist in the list and the list is not full. The method remove removes an item from the list if the list is not empty. The method sec search is of big O of n. Insert. The method insert inserts a new item in the list. Because duplicates are not allowed, this method first searches the list to determine whether the item to be inserted is already in the list. To determine whether or not the item to be inserted is already in the list, this method calls the member method secSearch. Described previously. If the item to be inserted is not in the list, the new item is inserted at the end of the list, and the length of this list is increased by 1. Also, the item to be inserted is passed as a parameter to this method. The definition of this method is the method insert uses the method search to determine whether insert item is already in the list. Now, because the method search is of big O of n, it follows that the method insert is of big O of n. Remove. The method remove deletes an item from the list. The item to be deleted is passed as a parameter to this method. In order to delete the item, that method calls the method search to determine whether or not the item to be deleted is in the list. If the item to be deleted is found in the list, the item is removed from the list, and the length of the list is decremented by 1. Moreover, the method search returns the index of the item in the list to be deleted. We can now use the index returned by the method search and use the method remove at to remove the item from the list. If the item to be deleted is not in the list, this method outputs an appropriate message. The definition of the method remove is this slide shows the definition of the remove method. The method remove uses the method search and remove at to remove an item from the list. Because each of these methods is of big O of n and are called in sequence, it follows that the method remove is of big O of n. The definitions of the constructors are left as an exercise for you. You can write the definition of the class unordered array list as follows. Time complexity of list operations. This table summarizes the time complexity of the methods of the class ArrayList class.